Calgary's mayor defends his colleagues, saying they aren't the focus of an RCMP investigation. Winter's return.
Our crews, they're working 24/7 through the winter months, so that goes into April.
A challenging day on the roads, but only in some parts of the city. And Olympic inspiration.
I really like that he could do diving.
Passing on knowledge to the next generation.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Ian White.
Good afternoon. Mayor Jeremy Farkas says past and current council members are not the target of an RCMP investigation that saw search warrants executed at politicians' homes and cell phones seized. Tyson Fedor is live at City Hall. And Tyson, the mayor says he trusts his council colleagues and former members of council too.
Well, Ian, Jeremy Farkas says that he has not been briefed by police in regards to this investigation ongoing by the RCMP's Federal Policing Unit, but that he supports current councillor Andre Chabot and former mayor Jyoti Gondek, who had their homes searched just last week in regards to this investigation. Now, Gondek did release a statement today that says she's cooperating with the investigation after her home was searched and her cell phone seized. She does say the process has been invasive and that she will review it with her lawyer to see if it was justified. Ward 10's Andre Chabot says he was shocked when Mounties turned up at his home last Thursday, taking two of his cell phones. RCMP are investigating a complaint referred to them last fall by Calgary police. What that complaint is and what it entails is not known. The Premier says she knows very few details of the case, and former councillor Sean Chu also had a cell phone taken by police along with his home being searched. The mayor today would not say if he's frustrated by the lack of transparency from the RCMP about this case, but that he says supporting the investigation.
Understand that current and former members of council are supporting the investigation. At this point, I understand that they are not the center of the investigation. There's allegations that are leveled against a third party, a local business.
Now, we followed up with RCMP today in this investigation. At this time, they are not providing any further comment to provide the integrity to this investigation. At this point, Ian, still no charges have been laid.
Tyson, thanks very much. New technology is aiming to give survivors of domestic violence a much-needed sense of security. The province has budgeted $4.1 million over 3 years to activate a new app that will give victims real-time alerts on their phones if an offender with an ankle monitor breaches a court-ordered boundary. The 24-hour monitoring enforces no-go zones like a victim's home or workplace. The money, which was previously announced in the budget, will also expand the capacity of the electronic monitoring program for repeat and high-risk offenders. Advocates say this shifts the burden of safety away from the survivor.
It does not eliminate the risk, but it introduces something that has been missing for far too long: a proactive, visible, and immediate layer of accountability. It gives victims critical information, it gives law enforcement another tool to intervene before harm escalates, and importantly, it reinforces a clear message that responsibility for safety sits with the person creating the risk.
The province says the survivors will have to notify police if they want to receive an alert. It won't happen automatically. The app will launch this year. A Calgary police officer who opened fire on an SUV containing 2 suspects won't be charged. In March of 2019, the officer responded to a home invasion at the Caravan Mobile Home Park in the southeast. A passenger fired a sawed-off shotgun at the officer. The officer fired 4 shots back. Then he fired 6 more shots as the SUV drove away. The SUV then crashed. The driver was in critical condition but survived. ACERT, the provincial police watchdog, says there were reasonable grounds to believe the officer committed an offense while firing the 6 shots while the vehicle was driving away. But the Crown Prosecutor's Office decided not to lay charges. Police have charged 2 men after a person was shot in the parking lot of the Genesis Centre. The Northeast shooting happened the night of March 3rd when 2 men confronted a group and pulled out a gun. The suspects then fled but were caught on the recreation center's security cameras. 34-year-old Sohrab Rob Rashed and 33-year-old Ramal Siddiqui each face charges of discharging a firearm, aggravated assault, and more. The person who was injured has since recovered. Calgary police are warning drivers to slow down after an early spring blast of snowy weather created treacherous conditions across the city today. Mark Villani is live in the city's northwest. And Mark, there's been no shortage of crashes.
Yeah, that's right, Ian. It's much calmer now, but at one point this morning it was so bad that Calgary police actually put out an advisory urging drivers not to travel. Now, from midnight to about 4 p.m. today, we can tell you that there's been around 300 crashes in the city. Several areas of Calgary saw that thick, wet snowfall, and as it froze, it turned into black ice, making it treacherous in some parts. Now, here's a look at Stony Trail and Sarcee Trail, where 3 semi-trucks were involved in a collision leading to delays this morning. Meanwhile, northbound Deerfoot Trail near the Country Hills Boulevard overpass, it was also shut down after multiple crashes. So many drivers were stranded there that the Calgary Fire Department requested a city bus to shuttle people away from that scene. Now, elsewhere, it was also a struggle just to get going for some drivers, unable to make it up hills. And outside the city, visibility was at a premium, less than 100 meters of visibility in some parts. A strong contrast, certainly, from what we've seen in other parts of the south in areas of Calgary that saw little to no snow today.
Do anticipate warmer weather will help with some of the melt, but we do want to caution people just to be ready. We are seeing low overnight temperatures over the next couple of evenings, so that could lead to some trouble on the roads, particularly before the sun has come up or just after it's come up. Keep those winter driving habits in mind. Drive to the conditions. Be mindful that there could be ice forming in trouble spots such as bridge decks, hills, and intersections.
Now, the city says it is working around the clock. It's snow clearing crews working on those priority 1 routes like Crowchild or Glenmore. Meanwhile, the snow not all bad. We do have some good news coming up in my 6 o'clock report. We'll tell you a little bit more about why this extra moisture is good for parts of southern Alberta that are experiencing those drought-like conditions.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Thanks very much, Mark. And the snow also having a significant impact at Calgary's airport. Officials say there was a temporary stoppage of departing flights, which wasn't lifted until after 1 this afternoon. That resulted in a significant backlog.
We saw the snow this morning, and we were lucky that it let up by the time we got to the airport. And then we discovered our flight had been canceled. Not delayed, but completely canceled.
We were supposed to have only a 2-hour layover, and now it's turned to 5 because of delays in the weather. And as we were coming in, I was talking to a fellow. They were stuck on the tarmac here for 6 hours. Their flight got canceled and they had to get removed from the plane, so they didn't even get to go to where they were needed to go.
Travelers are being encouraged to check their flight status before heading to the airport. And Danielle, it's really a tale of 2 cities within 1 city. I'm in the north, and I had to dodge around the big trucks on Stony Trail to get to work.
Yeah, and in the south end, trace amounts.
Yeah.
If that. Yeah. It was quite a range, as it was with the last few systems we've had. This is typical in March because we have many different microclimates in our lovely city. So some communities, and elevation as well, so keep that in mind. So some communities seeing closer to 8 centimeters in a short amount of time in almost blizzard-like conditions, while other communities just saw trace amounts to 1 centimeter. -6 is the temperature right now. -14 is what it feels like with the wind chill. Now, I have to say that the snow we got today is wave number 1. The second wave is on the way for tonight and through tomorrow morning. So another tricky commute for tomorrow morning to add to what's already been a troublesome commute. All right, so for this evening, small chance of flurries overnight. You're looking at 2 to 4 centimeters in the city, and then another 1 to 2 centimeters possible in the morning hours. That should taper off and move out for the afternoon, and we'll actually get the sun peeking out here and there, but it will remain cold. The wind chill in the morning, -20, and in the afternoon with the wind chill, it will feel like -11. That's our 24-hour forecast, brought to you by 5th Avenue Volkswagen. Family-owned, community-driven. Discover more at 5th Avenue Volkswagen.
Thanks, Danielle. Tourism Calgary is out with its Attraction Pass for 2026, encouraging people to rediscover some of the city's most iconic destinations.
We hope that this will encourage people not just to go to one attraction, but if you're saving some dollars, maybe go to 2 or 3 different attractions, or maybe do a little bit more dining or do a little bit more shopping as a result of the money that you're saving through the attractions pass.
The pass is free and provides access to exclusive discounts at 10 of the city's top attractions. That includes the Calgary Tower, Heritage Park, the Calgary Zoo, and Callaway Park. Tourism Calgary says the pass continues to grow in popularity, now in its 3rd year. You can download it to your phone at visitcalgary.com. The Professional Women's Hockey League is bringing its takeover tour to Calgary. The Ottawa Charge and Toronto Spectres will be practicing at Winsport on Tuesday. The practices are open to the public with an autograph session following each team's practice time. On April 1st, the PWHL teams will face off at the Saddle Dome. Puck drop is at 7:30 that night. Tickets are still available. The Calgary Flames host their South Asian Celebration Night tomorrow. Today, they showed off their special jersey designed for the event. Calgary-born artist Navi Jaj designed the jersey, complete with her unique take on the flaming sea. Rookie defenseman Zane Parekh is of Indian heritage. The game against Anaheim will feature plenty of South Asian music and dance performances. Mounties conducted a search last week at a company that's linked to controversy within Alberta's government. Next, the Premier responds to the probe into MH Care Medical. And Alberta MLAs make their choice for the province's new Auditor General. When it comes to the province's health procurement controversy, the Premier says she and her government have nothing to hide. Danielle Smith spoke to reporters today, less than a week after RCMP searched multiple locations, including MH Care Medical. The Premier says one of her deputy ministers has been providing investigators with pertinent documents, and as of now, she is keeping her distance from the matter.
I have no involvement in it. No, we set him up as an independent point of contact so that he would be able to correspond directly with councils as well as with those who were seeking the information.
The owner of MH Care, Sam Murrage, has been granted more than $600 million in provincial contracts. He denies any wrongdoing, though an independent report has found he has an outstanding balance with Alberta taxpayers of $49 million. An Alberta Legislature committee has recommended a new Auditor General. Philip Peters is currently the General Counsel and Ethics Officer within the office. It now falls to the UCP cabinet to appoint him. Peters will have to complete the report into the controversial health contract procurements. The current Auditor General has finished his investigation, but won't have time to prepare the report before his term ends. Okay, Danielle, when will the final snowflake fall?
Let's say late April.
Late April. We've got a long way to go.
You know what? We've been on track, as we were saying, every 3 days we're getting snowfall this month. This is supposed to be our snowiest month, and this reduces all the fire risk throughout our spring and summer. So we need it. Do we need driving to be as tricky as it was this morning? No. Do we need flights to be delayed when people are trying to head out to warmer destinations? No. But this is what we're dealing with on and off this month, and the trend will continue, and snow will be back by the later part of the weekend. I'll show you that in the longer range in just a second, but this wave is continuing. All right, check out the discrepancy in temperature today. -4 was the high in Calgary and +11 in Lethbridge, 13 in Milk River. So very warm temperatures in the far south, and they didn't see the snow that we saw in the city today. Again, some parts of the city, for example, around our studio, it was very intense. And then in parts of the southeast, for example, we got next to nothing. Right now, temperature -6 in Calgary with the wind chill, though, in the minus double digits, and it's still +3 in Lethbridge and 4 in Milk River. Now this cold air will continue to filter down, and we have another wave of snow on the way. It's been quite gusty. Pincher Creek and Lethbridge closer to that 60 mark, and in the 30s, Medicine Hat, Brooks, close to that in Drumheller, Red Deer, and Banff as well. Calgary, we did not register a gust today, but it'll be a little gustier for tomorrow. We do have a snowfall warning in place for communities Kananaskis, for example, basically off of to the west of Cochrane. And these areas and up the mountains could see another 15 centimeters, and some localized areas in this spot has already seen 30 centimeters of snow or close to it. So a total of 45 centimeters possible in some of these areas in very localized spots. So a lot of snowfall there. This is the bullseye area for sure. As we head through the next 12 to 24 hours, we're going to see a significant snowfall for most communities in southern Alberta, enough to shovel, but not the 45 centimeters that's happening way off to the west. All right, radar and satellite. Here's wave number 1, and this is what passed through earlier today through Calgary, down Trans-Canada, and mainly out of the way now. But this is a significant feed of moisture from the west. It's just going to keep pumping moisture in for these next 12 to 24 hours. So let me fast forward to overnight tonight. So by the midnight hour, it should pick up again along QE2, Calgary, Highway 2, far south as well involved in this one because temperatures are going to start to plummet here. Intensifying in the overnight hours and then making its way out of Calgary in the late morning hours. So this is a look at 9:30. It should be mainly out of the way, or at least tapering off to just a few flurries, but it will still remain in the east. And then it clears out for Friday, and temperatures will bump above the freezing mark on Friday. Looking at snowfall amounts and what we can expect, Calgary looking at basically 3 to 5 centimeters from this over these next 12 to 24 hours. Same amount for Canmore, more for Brooks, around 10 centimeters, Tabor as well, and Medicine Hat. Lethbridge could see 8 centimeters. All right, for us here in Calgary again, 3 to 5 centimeters. Moving out by late morning tomorrow. -4 is our high tomorrow, but then +8 with sunny skies on Friday.
Thank you, Danielle. Spending more on national defense is not just a security issue, it's a business opportunity. Still to come, the companies that are gathering in Calgary this week with an eye on getting their share of the military budget. Markets get a lift with some hope of improvement in the conflict in the Middle East. Joining me is Liana Washniak, investment advisor with the Popwich-Karmali Advisory Group. And Liana, investors were digesting this latest news from the situation in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz.
That's right, and digesting and looking at it quite with an optimistic lens. The day finished positive on both the U.S. and Canadian sides of the border today, and like you said, people are seeing optimism in a potential end to the conflict, or at least a resolution of some of the shipping issues that are currently ongoing. The U.S. seems quite interested in talks about a ceasefire. There are other countries that are intervening and acting as intermediaries. Now, there is some mixed messaging coming out of the Iranian regime and the state there. That looks a little bit less likely to lead to something that is permanent, but at least a cessation of some of the hostilities or a potential resumption of shipping is what the market is looking for, and that's why we saw a fair bit of positivity on both sides of the border today.
Meantime, SpaceX is looking at going public.
That's right, and this is something that they teased a while back, and investors have been waiting for it. This could potentially be the biggest IPO in history, depending on the number that they choose to shoot for, but SpaceX is quite highly valued, at least in private valuations. So this could go live as early as this week or next week, according to insiders. They could be looking for up to $75 billion, which again would make it one of the largest, if not the largest IPO in history, for up to 20% of the company. Now, if people are interested in owning a piece of space, they're enthusiasts about that, or they're looking at getting into the space technology area with their investments, because there is expanded, satellite networks. There have been additional rocket launches, and it's become a lot cheaper to do that over the last several years. SpaceX is the largest U.S. privately owned rocket company in the country, and this would be a really interesting one to watch. So let's keep our eyes out for an announcement in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thanks for the update.
Thank you.
The federal government is increasing military spending to 2% of the country's GDP, and those in the defense industry are looking to get a piece of the pie. The DefSec West trade show runs today and tomorrow at the TELUS Convention Center. Over 90 vendors and 1,700 people within the defense, aerospace, and security industries are there. The event connects small and medium-sized businesses with bigger companies, such as Boeing, to help supply Canada's military. Many of the vendors are from Western Canada, including Canadian UAVs based out of Calgary.
Typically, shows such as this, we got to fly to Ottawa, even around the world, to actually get access, particularly to the government, representatives and buyers. So it's really nice that this is in our backyard for a change.
The commander of the Canadian Army spoke at the event, highlighting Alberta's role with the stronger military. He pointed to larger scale training taking place at the Canadian Armed Forces Base in Suffield. Past and current council members are not the target in an RCMP investigation. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Ian. The mayor made that distinction today after Andre Chabot, Sean Chu and Jyoti Gondek had their phones seized. The three are part of an RCMP investigation, but police aren't revealing why. Coming up at 6, a political scientist weighs in on the situation. Also ahead, a new app aims to give Alberta survivors of domestic violence a much-needed sense of security. Coming up, we'll hear from a victim's family who helped develop that tracking system. Ian.
Thank you, Tara. Are we done with the snow? Many of us sure hope so. Right now in Calgary, -6 and freezing fog. Danielle has details still ahead. I have to admit, it's a frustrating time of year because we so desperately want spring to really get rolling.
Yeah.
And it kind of starts and stops.
Starts and stops. We had a lot of spring weather so far.
Yeah.
And then we're thrown into winter again. We have to have everything in the mudroom. I know. It's tricky. And we're not done yet. -6 currently, feels more like -11 with the wind chill. Our high today was just -4. Normal daytime high is +6. We'll get closer to that on Friday. But before then, snow tonight, heavy at times in through tomorrow morning, clearing out by tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks, Danielle. A young Calgary girl is drawing inspiration from a Canadian Olympic bobsledder who traded the pool for the track. 7-year-old Kaylee Wilshire met her Olympic hero at the Seton YMCA. Johan Eskrik Parkinson narrowly missed qualifying for the Paris Paralympics in 2024 for diving, but he turned his attention to bobsledding, making his first appearance at the Games in Milan last month. That story resonated with Kaylee, who had her very first diving lesson coached by the Olympian.
I really liked that he could do diving and that it doesn't matter which sport you could do, and also it doesn't matter if you can do two things at the exact same time.
And Kaylee says she too would like to represent Team Canada one day at the Olympic Games. Best of luck to her. Thanks for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.